Hey everybody, welcome to Drinking with Ray. Well, I usually do whiskeys and I'm a big beer fan. Sometimes wine, sometimes other spirits. But I have something interesting today, something called mead. Quite possibly the oldest alcoholic drink ever in the history of the world. Mead is made from honey, and it's kind of more like a wine. This is about 11% alcohol, so not too strong, stronger than a beer, which is usually about 5%, but not as strong as a whiskey or spirit, which is about 40%. So the history of mead before we give it a try. It's amazing. So they found in northern China from about 7,000 BC a burial with vessels in it with residue of a fermented honey beverage. Northern China, 7,000 BC. So we're talking ancient history, prehistory. In India, also, they found a similar burial plot around 2000 BC. And this one, they were able to scrape out the residue inside these vessels a little better and found that it's very close to the more modern drink of mead. Almost the exact same ingredients. It's amazing. Ancient history, we're talking. Ancient peoples way back into time. And it went more places. Mead is referenced in alcohol-loving ancient Egypt, who also really loved beer, by the way. In ancient Greece, the starters of Western civilization, they believed mead had connection to the gods, a drink of the gods, descended as from heaven and collected by bees. Pretty interesting. So all kinds of cultures all over the world believed mead to be this magic and sacred property holding drink that bestowed health, vitality, and all kinds of powerful things inside the drinker. Ooh, it's pretty cool. Well, if you think about it, ancient times, alcohol, the way that it, changes your mind a little bit, before scientific knowledge was available, it probably seemed like magic, It was like, what is this? How is this happening? Like, there's a reason they call spirits, because in the ancient times, before science of fermentation was known, it was a way to connect with the spirit world by, getting a little intoxicated. It was a vision into another place. So mead was also thought of that. It made its way into Europe. Greece had it, I talked about, but it became very popular in the ancient cultures of Germany and Norway, like the Vikings and Sweden around there. They were big mead drinkers. Also, the Celtic culture believed gods and mortals alike shared mead and cow horns and goblets and ceremonial vessels, and all kinds of stories and writings they found about it. Celtic mythology had a river of mead running through paradise. The Anglo-Saxon culture, which came from the Anglos, the Saxons, and the Jutes, came from the area around Denmark and northern Germany to be the rulers of England after the Romans got out of there. And the Anglo, right, is where English comes from, the word English. And then that was before the Normans got there. Regardless, they loved mead too. So mead came over to the British Isles, where it also became popular. And it made its way to Ireland. Deep into ancient history also. So, mead, there was a legend of these people that lived in Ireland called it's a Gaelic word, it's a hard word. Sorry, looking at all these notes. Tuatha Dé Danann, these mystical people that lived in Ireland, and there's all these legends associated with them. They have a legend of them drinking mead and they turned into swans and were exiled for 900 years. So also in Ireland, there's a place called the Hill of Tara. It's the seat of ancient high kings of Ireland. It was a great banquet hall called Tech Midquarta, which means in Gaelic a mead circling house. So they would have this great hall. It was a huge timber building, and they would have mead there and discuss, policies, war, whatever. Have banquets and parties. Mead, an ancient drink. Oh, so we're gonna try it. Mead, fell out of popularity as other things got a little bit more popular, especially grape wine. And it wasn't consumed as much as in the ancient times for the last, 1,000, couple hundred years. The last mead maker in Ireland actually closed 200 years ago. Until in 2016, the Kinsale Mead Company was started. And, mead nowadays, probably in the past two, they add a bunch of other flavoring. This one is strawberry and raspberry notes to the fermenting honey. It's a little sweet. I'm not too familiar with it. I know I've tried it a few times. We're going to try it today. One more cool history story, though, is mead culture and ancient tradition is still with us today. In the term honeymoon, where, people get married, they go somewhere afterwards. A honeymoon originally was called that because a gift, especially in Europe, for bridal couples after getting married was a month's worth of honey wine, which is mead. And that's where the word honeymoon comes from, because a month, is a full moon cycle. Crazy, huh? So all these ancient cultures thought of mead as having sacred properties and bestowing health, strength, vitality, creative powers, wit, and poetry, all kinds of interesting things. So maybe it could help me out a little bit in my video skills, right? So let's try some mead. This is Irish mead. Company started in 2016 here in Kinsale, Cork. It's like wine. Ooh, it has a nice reddish color. That's probably because of the berries in this kind. But similar to wine. Woo! Wow, that smells like a nice juice kind of. That's interesting. Can't even really smell the alcohol. Kind of reminds me of Manischewitz. Jewish wine. Tell you the truth. All right. Well, as they say in Ireland, to your health. This in ancient times gave you health, they believed. Slante. Let's try mispronouncing that. Slanch. That's how they say that. Okay, let's give it a try. Ooh, got a little sweet little aftertaste there. Woo! Man, that's nice. It's like wine. Very similar to wine. Let's give it a little twirl like they do with the wine. Oh, I like to put the bottle up here. So this is something different, I like to try all kinds of drinks. I'll try it. Anything out there worldwide. Hope to be trying more soon. But for now, I'll be trying different things in Ireland. Like, for example, the next video will be this. Connemara. Peated single malt Irish whiskey. Ooh, yeah, I love whiskey. I'm getting real familiar with the Irish whiskeys. But for now, let's drink some mead. So this kind is real simple ingredients. Just Spanish honey, which is close by. 6 berries. And 6 different kinds of berries and water. That's it. So another Irish legendary history story. So back in the 400s AD, there was a monk from Wales who was a beekeeper. Oh no, he was a monk in Wales. He was from Ireland. And he was a beekeeper, the honey, people keeping bees for honey. For thousands of years has been happening. Domestication of bees, really. So he missed home and he wanted to go back to Ireland. And his name was Saint Molage, founder of the original settlement in not far from Kinsale. Ooh. All right, so he was obviously, early Christian, but there was always a Celtic legend that when the body died, the soul turned into a bee or a butterfly. So the bee was like a sacred creature, even in Christianized Ireland and Wales and the British Isles. So, they kept a lot of these Celtic things, even as times changed. And I think that's really cool, actually. It's a thing that still exists with us to this day. So back to the saint. He was a beekeeper in Wales. He returned home, and legend has it that his bees followed him on a ship across the Irish Sea. And those were the first, no, maybe not the first, but his bees were evidence that mead was being made, and he became a saint. Interesting. So, again, Schlange and mead. Well, thanks for drinking with Ray and listening to the history of mead, the oldest alcoholic drink. History. And link, subscribe, press the like button, all that stuff. Be on the lookout for next Connemara Irish whiskey, peated single malt. Ooh, I can't wait to try this one. That's going to be the next video. And thanks for watching. Be on the lookout for all the interesting things I try. Who knows what I'll try next? Mead.